Hi, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're joining from. Thank you for joining us today. My name is Seyi Obasi, and I'm here with Peter Isesile. And today we want to talk about something very, very important. It's close to both our hearts. That's why we decided to come and talk about it today. Now, we have both been international students in Canada. I came in to do a master's, and Peter is right now doing his PhD. Right, Peter?
That's correct. Yes, that's correct.
And we know the challenges that we went through as international students. And we know that there are a lot of international students that are struggling with one thing or the other. Sometimes they don't even know how to navigate some of these troubles. So today we want to talk about how to navigate the troubles in Canada as an international student. And we're going to be giving tips on how you can overcome some of these struggles so that you can have a very pleasant experience as an international student in Canada. So Peter, I know, well, I don't know about you, but I started as an international student because I came to Canada fresh, and I went through a lot of these challenges, and I also saw some of my colleagues going through some of these challenges. So I guess we'll start from what you think is the biggest challenge that international students are facing and how they can overcome it.
I mean, I came in Canada 2017, and at that time there were not really a lot of videos, that I could watch at that time to really give perspective as to, life in Canada. So I think it's probably in the last 5-6 years that things you see like people sharing more and more of their experiences and all that. I think for me, the biggest challenge, the first challenge that that international students face is even just understanding the system, because there is just so many things that you have to understand, okay? And if you don't understand them, these are information that are readily available. If you don't understand it, it just look as if you are one person in the middle of the ocean, right? You have to understand how the school system works, how all of their finances work. If not, you probably just go to, screw up your credit card like I did initially. I was thinking, this is free money. I can just spend it. I didn't even care about paying the money, paying it back. I would just spend it until they come here and increase my interest to probably close to 30% because I didn't really care about it, So just having that understanding and asking questions, right? There are a lot of things that we can talk about, but just understanding how the system works. And, this is especially true for those people that did not do a lot of research in their visa application. Now you're faced with Canada where everything is all going to be, somebody will send you a link and say, this is how to do it. And that's it. So you have to be able to do things yourself because you may not be used to it, but now you have to be used to it. Now, let's say you apply for a study permit to come to Canada. Now study permit is expiring and your agent is no longer there, right? You have to apply for yourself. So all of these are all big struggles that I think people will face as an international student.
Yes. So right off the bat, even getting into the system and understanding how the system works is very challenging. Yes. When I first came, I think my very first struggle was even being able to understand what my supervisor was saying. We were not communicating. She was talking too fast and she couldn't hear me. So we had to both slow down in the way we were speaking. And then sort of like integrating yourself into the system. It's a different country with a different sort of culture. Different way of even doing school. The school system is even completely different from what we're used to back home. And a lot of people, they come here and they don't expect to see all of these challenges, and it's demoralizing. And sometimes they struggle in the first semester and they do fall in their grades because they have not been able to understand the system. And then some people don't ask questions. Oh my God, like you said, you have to ask everything. I noticed that if you don't ask, people don't tell you. I don't even know why it's like that.
They just assume that you have the answers if you don't ask.
They'll just assume that you know, yes.
Yeah.
So if you're struggling as an international student, please make sure you can even go to the international office. A lot of schools have that and make your inquiries. Yeah. Exactly. So which other challenges do you know that international students have?
I mean, juggling between, if you have to do it, especially, I mean, a lot of international students, of course, will be doing some kind of part-time jobs, as, I mean, for those that are doing research, I will speak for my own case, it is extremely challenging because now I have to be in the lab, like every lab works differently. For my own lab, I have to be in the lab Monday to Friday, minimum 9 a.m. to like 5 p.m. every day, like Monday to Friday. So I had to do, any part-time job. In fact, I couldn't do it in the first year because it was so tensed. Now, especially if you're getting a scholarship, the expectation is so high. You can't get, like in my department then, if you get less than, I think it's like 75 or so, you're going to lose your scholarship, right? So your prof will keep hammering that and telling you have to do your best in your course because your scholarship is dependent on that. So coupling all of that, I couldn't do, combine that with a part-time. There are people that are able to do it, but I personally, I was not able to do it, it was probably after in the second year that I was able to, kind of incorporate part-time job. And even at that, it was still challenging because, sometimes I've been in the job and my prof sent me an email and say, hey, I need this data in the next 2 hours. And I'm at work, so it is very challenging because there's a lot of us, there are lots of assignments that you have to do, combining that with your work. Sometimes you don't even sleep early before you come back from work, you have to do assignments, so I think combining those, school plus work, it's pretty challenging as well.
I agree with you. I think that's one of the major challenges that we have as international students because a lot of time we come as mature students, and right off the bat, people want to work. I want to say that over 90% of international students want to get a job while they're studying, not understanding the challenge they're going to have juggling both of them. And the major reason why you're here as an international student is to study. I always tell them that you don't want to fail. So you don't want a situation where you're chasing the job and you now fail. Yeah. People are wondering I don't know how they would cope with both. Yeah, I guess it's for me, when I was a student, I didn't work any job that was more than, if you give me more than 20 hours, even if 22, I'll tell you to take it because that too was a scholarship and I wanted to get at least more than 75% on everything. Yeah.
Exactly.
It is challenging. And then the mix of who has children. They have families.
Exactly.
Oh my God.
And I tell people, when you come, the first thing you have to do, first understand how your timetable work and, the schedule and how rigorous the courses that you're doing. It does, by the time you sort out your schedule, then you can now talk about job, right? Because you don't just want to come and then start failing in your first, assessment and stuff like that, So, and I tell people, so according to the RSA requirement, okay, you are supposed to show minimum of 20,000 Canadian dollars, 20,600 something as a single person for your cost of living. So that means even, that should take you for a lot of months of that, in the actual sense, I know for those of us that are, on scholarship, you may not have, they are not going to give you the whole money to say, put it in your account at once, right? So they are going to, be sending you maybe every, 2 weeks per month and stuff. So you really have, a few options at that point in time. And you just have to be able to manage what is available. And you're just coming to Canada and you're looking at someone that has been there for like 5 years. This person is living in an apartment that is like, $900 in a month. So I have to also get an expensive apartment to show this guy that we are in the same. Nobody really cares. Nobody really cares, So don't just imitate. Just be you. Just be you.
And added to that, I think another challenge that is the reason why they are so focused on working is because they did not come with money. a lot of international students, even though I have told the visa officer that I can afford to pay for myself for the 1 year, a lot of us don't come with enough funds. So I see a lot of international students because they know I do this thing sometimes after church or sometimes even when I go to the grocery stores. People come up to me and they tell me their child, I can't pay my school fees, I'm owing. Lots of international students are owing. I think that's even one of the reasons why they even opt the living expenses. A challenge that some international students have faced is actually finding jobs in Canada. Sometimes they might not understand how to actually get jobs. Yeah. Some people say they're here for months as international students and they haven't been able to find jobs.
Yep.
And I think I've made videos and I believe that Peter has as well in terms of the kind of jobs that you can get as an international student and also how to actually apply to those jobs. As a student, not all jobs might be open to you. Yeah.
Yep.
So there are types of jobs that you can apply to. Maybe Peter, you can talk to that. What jobs can they get as international students? And
for the most, I've seen cases where maybe especially for those that are very experienced in their home country, they're already maybe close to a supervisor or manager, and then they come and they're like, oh, can I get a manager position part-time? So I was like, no, nobody's going to give you that. So the most common, jobs that you can get, customer service, sales associates, warehouse associates, if you're in inventory, cashier, so these are very, very common. I mean, majority of them pay minimum wage. And if you're in a province that allow you to use like previous experience to work in like home care or as a personal support worker, you can also do that. I know in a place like Newfoundland, it's a very lucrative, things that some students do, but yeah, there are some provinces that may have restrictions that you may have this kind of certificate before you can apply. So and a lot of this may, even though they are entry-level positions, I tell people, you don't be putting a manager in your home country and be putting it in your CV that you're looking for sales associate. You just have to, bring yourself down and put in the barest experience that you have that matches the job that you apply for. That's exactly. It. Yeah.
Exactly. So really, this is very important information, especially for mature people who, like Peter said, were managers before. Sometimes you need to tweak your resume a bit and know the kind of jobs that you are looking for. Okay.
Exactly.
You were going to say something about another challenge, Peter.
Yes. Another challenge, all that you don't put yourself in trouble and just assume things. Okay. You may come as an international student and you are a teaching assistant. Let me use that as an example. And the way back, I don't know for others that are watching from other countries, but back in Africa, when you are doing teaching assistant, you can talk to your to the students in a way that you like and feels as if you're even close to them, and stuff like that. But sexual harassment here is a big thing. So I learned that very early, and somebody in my lab told me, I said, Peter, if you are doing teaching assistant, just go do your job, teach, and go. Anything that has to do with even connecting with the student, on social media, whatever, don't do that. Okay, so I learned that just don't assume and don't take their smile, okay, for invitation to friendliness or to say, invitation to friendship, because somebody just smile at you doesn't mean they really like you. So just ask for permission, right? If you want to, always ask for permission before you do something, and then know the necessary limits, okay? And you can't even just look at somebody for long anyhow that you want. So those little things are things you should be careful with. And another thing is that they may be friendly with you. You will do something, they will smile with you. Before you know it, you're getting a query that this is what you did. So just be careful. Yeah, with with how you approach your friendship. Yeah.
Very, very insightful. Even me, I just learned something. Very insightful. I've heard people's stories about all of such things. That's because
Yes.
I had a manager too one time. She was always smiling, but there was a time when I knew that those smiles were just they were just so they're just friendly. It doesn't mean that they like you or they want to be friends with you.
Exactly.
Yeah. One other challenge, I think it's a big one that I see international students have, and a lot of times it's from the questions that they ask when they are about to finish studying and get their how do I get PGWP? What are my options for permanent residence? I'm always surprised when people come and ask me, and their PGWP is just a few months to end, and they are just asking now about options for permanent residence. Yeah. So I don't know if you've seen people like that have come to you. They don't really understand how to. It's like it jumps on them, but it doesn't jump on you. You knew all the while you were studying that you were going to have to how to transit from a student to a permanent resident.
Yeah. So these are some of the challenges that you have if you don't do your application yourself before coming to Canada, because you don't know how to do research. You don't know how to get the necessary information. And, I've seen like people asking me questions. Oh, they're about finishing their program in like 1 month or so. They're asking, how would they apply for PR? And I was like, that's a very, very vague question. And this is something that you should be doing a lot of research and see, have a notebook where you write, these are all of the options that are available for me. And what do I need to do, right, to make myself qualified? For example, there are people that you have, maybe they want to write English test shortly even before they graduate. If you already have, let's say, master's degree in your home country, and you're coming to do diploma, you want to do credential evaluation. Those are things you should do before you even graduate, so that when you graduate, you already have, things ready. And do research. People don't do research. That everything is all available on the IRC. Well, it feels like whatever we are saying here is not information we just made up, right? They are all information are available on IRC. So you have to do your own research and know, am I doing provincial nomination? Am I doing the, federal state worker program? Am I doing the, like now that you have all the different, just see what you qualify for. That's another thing. See the one you may not qualify for everything. See the one that you qualify for, and then get all necessary things ready.
Yes. Very funny the way you said you had a notebook. When I came, I was a student. I already had an Excel sheet.
Yes.
In terms of this month to your IELTS, this month to this, and this was while I was. If I started working on it, and I studied for 2 years. And I had a 3-year PGWP. It's like I had time, but I wanted to know all of the options. I even knew the options for all provinces. In fact, that's how I even knew this. Search every province. Ontario is not working. I knew it. But some people just don't do that. And like you said, people are not ready to do research, and the information is all there on the RCC website.
And another thing I wanted,
website as well.
Another thing I wanted to add is, don't say this is the route that my friend. So they messaged me some time ago and said that the person saw that I got my PR even while I'm still a student, and they are currently still doing diploma. They want to apply for PRO before they graduate. I was like, you have to see what works for you, and don't say somebody did this. Definitely, I'm going to follow. It may not work for you. That's another big question. You have to do what works for you. What works for Mr. A, Mr. B may not qualify for it, and you don't know especially if you have, let's say, prior experience back home, 2-3 years experience. You're already having some kind of advantage, in terms of getting, more points in the express entry and all that. So just see what works for you and then follow that. know the what do they call it? The worst scenario. Okay, the worst scenario. If this plan A does not work, I'm going to plan B. If you should have at least you should have at least plan D. Don't just have only plan A in your like route of PR application, if possible. Yeah.
And very important, you should understand. I'm telling you, even as we're talking, a lot of people watching don't know at this point, they don't know their options. Some people are graduating soon. They still don't know the options that are available to them. So please, guys, go and do some research. Yeah. If you studied at a 1-year program, you're likely to get just a 1-year PGWP, and you're only getting it once. You cannot extend it. It was only during COVID that it was extended. You can't extend it. So if your PGWP expires before you're able to apply for permanent residence, then you have to look at other options, because you have run out of time. It's like a race against time. That's right. That's right. A race against time.
And I will always tell you the best way to start your research is to see what is available in the province. That is the easiest way to start. See what is available with the province in terms of their provincial nomination, because a lot of provinces have, international student streams. You have to see, what work experience do they require? How long do you have to work? So you have to now to play your game. And then there are a lot of options available in the federal as well, right? The general draw and the most recently the category-based draw. So you have to, watch the points and see which, if they were to do draw today, which one am I going to qualify for, right? So, if you have to write French, please do it.
And it's so important for people to know that they have options.
Exactly.
People just think that they're just restricted to the federal skilled workers program. No, your province has so many programs. There's even the rural and northern immigration program. It's not just in Ontario, it's in Saskatchewan and other places. So that's why you have to do your research so that you can know all the options that are actually available to you. Because studying in Canada is a great opportunity. You're getting world-class education, and you also have the opportunity, if you qualify, to get Canadian permanent residence.
That's right. Yeah.
Do you have any more challenges? I don't know.
Yeah. So I know we haven't. So you have to understand how I know you have a channel where you really talk about finances and all that. So you have to really understand how the financial, the whole finances, in Canada work. And also you will be like, oh, I don't have a lot of money, so why do I really care about how the finances work? But if you start to do your research on time and kind of know how, especially how the tax system works, and especially how the credit card works, and understanding what investment opportunities are available. I've seen people that just graduated, and they tell you, I don't even know what a tax-free savings account is. Like, I don't know what it is. I'm telling you. They don't know what it is. They don't know what is available to them, because I feel like I don't have the money. You may not have the money, but just keep doing your research, and then there may be some grants that are available. Do your just make sure you do your own research to make sure if those things are available or not, and then that's about it.
Right. So finances is a whole kettle of fish.
Exactly.
Lots of international students, just like you said, they don't know what a tax-free savings account is. They are not saving. Some of them are not even exploring scholarships in their school. I joined on funding, and yet I was always looking out for scholarships. 2005, 500 here and there. Yeah, I wasn't letting anything go. I was like, whatever was getting it.
Yeah, exactly.
Scholarship opportunities, they don't know. I was a friend to the scholarship page of my university at that time. So guys, and like Peter said, I have a channel. It's called Don't Go Broke TV. Yeah, it's all about the finances in Canada, tax savings, investment options available, how to use credit card, I got into trouble with credit card, just like Peter said, in my first year. I don't understand. I was just spending money. Yeah, it was like what I was using to pay my bills. And I know a lot of people are in that. So you need to get, this is not the time and space for us to talk about all that. So I'm going to leave the link to my channel for you guys. Go there. There are a few videos about taxes.
Another thing I wanted to quickly add before we go is, as much as possible, try to do a lot of volunteering. It's very, very helpful. It's very helpful. I know in my when I was doing my master's, at some point they were calling me Mr. Volunteer, because you will see me everywhere. Like any event you go to and there's an opportunity to volunteer, I just do that. And that helped me to really get integrated into the system. Then you can ask people questions that have been in the system for a while, and you get a lot of references, right? And when you apply for jobs, if you don't have the Canadian experiences, those volunteering can count as a volunteer experience. In fact, one of the person I volunteered with was the person that gave me a reference when I was doing my PhD. Because I volunteered with the person for probably close to about 2.5 years. And she was able to speak highly of me for my PhD application, so volunteer and also be strategic about it. Okay, pick volunteer position that will help you. And if possible, in your department, in your university, there is the, graduate student union and all that. Participate. Yes. Participate a lot. It's going to really be helpful for you. Yeah. And thanks everyone for sticking around. And then if there's anyone that interests you among all of these challenges, even not really interested, if there's anyone you're kind of particularly learned, just put it in the comment section and say, oh, thanks for sharing information about this specific one. Let's, and also just put where you're watching from so that we see where we have most of the population from. And then if you have any specific question, just also, put it in the comment section as well.
Okay, and also if you're an international student and you have any particular challenge that we haven't talked about, that you also want us to, you have a question, put it in the comments as well. And then for those of you that are going through one challenge or the other, I pray that, you will find respite and comfort and God will send help your way. Yeah? Don't forget to like the video and share it with your friends so that as many people as possible can see it. And if you have any particular topic you want I or Peter to talk about, like, why don't you talk about this or talk about that? Just leave it in the comments. I will try and make videos for you, because that's why we're here, right? To provide you with information that's going to help you integrate smoothly into the Canadian culture and the Canadian environment.
Absolutely.
So that's all for today, guys. If you want me and Peter to come again and do another video, comment and tell us the topic that you like us to talk about. Thank you very much for watching. And have a lovely rest of your day. Bye for now.
All right. Bye, everyone.